Greetings, beautiful sleeping angels of planet Earth, those who dream peacefully, and those who move restlessly through a half-awakened state, those who pray for help, and those who trust their own way, those who create tapestries from threads of gold, and those who create nightmares from their own internal fears, those who watch the sunrise while sitting on a grassy hillside, and those who watch the chaos while sitting on their couch, those who are aware and those who are not. You are all equally loved, as a mother loves her children. You are all equally honored, for there is no role you perform that would turn us away. You are loved as much for your weaknesses as for your courage, for your strengths, as well as for your limitations. We greet you through a voice not ours, yet the greeting is our own. In the sphere we would call home, we have not singular names as you do, as our designation is that of many, yet hosted as one. For the sake of symmetry, we shall choose the name Lucas for use while visiting with you. As the name implies, we are bringers of illumination or knowledge. We are that which would be known to most listening as angels, or perhaps galactic or spirit guides, or to many, extraterrestrial or interdimensional beings. None of these designations is incorrect. We are most pleased to speak with you this day. The message we come to bring you is one of anticipation and enticement, for we now share a slice of our existence with you and anxiously await your arrival into our domain. We are a community of ideas, imagined and impressed upon the ether, delicate filaments of thought, woven into a fabric of timeless space, a tapestry of perception and intention, written upon the stars, in which there is no I, only we, the one, the whole. To begin, what we in our realm refer to as the first scattering, Source the Mother gave birth to a new idea, initiated upon the purity of space, a renewed notion of self, simple contemplated thought, intention erupting into a radiant explosion of light, fragmented ideas, images, and concepts of self, splintering and dispersing into the infinite, transformation and purpose of expansion. From within this tempest arose a sentient gradation of aliveness, stretching from the intangible to the material, a spectrum of potential, and fashioned within each a propensity toward certain traits and tendencies relevant to each stratum, fashioning worlds which hold these views. Within our designation, we exist within these levels above or beyond the physical, although have viewed much of the lower worlds from our place beyond your stars. Those within our realm either stayed as we who speak, choosing to preserve our original emergence, or have voluntarily dropped downward into those densities of the physical for the mystery and advancement of the whole. We who have not become man benefit greatly from those who have, for it is strongly within us to discover ways to gift the mother. Most admired is one who dives to the bottom and manages to swim back up to the top, bringing with them all the wisdom gained from the journey lived along the way. On your world, it is the mother who tells stories to the child, to teach and entertain. In ours, it is the child who brings the stories back to the mother. There is no higher honor than that of persevering through a near-death catastrophe, escaping a fatal fire or crash, or slobbering monster, or deadly diagnosis, and returning to tell the story at homecoming. We await with pleasure the receiving of such an exploit. A voyage to Earth is not to be wasted. Those who tempt the fates of an erupting volcano, fierce winds, sinking boat, or charging lion, those are the stories most cherished by Source. For this is what your world was meant to be. Jump in, jump out. It was not meant for suffering and imprisonment. It is our greatest wish for those on this earthly plane to rescue yourselves through knowledge not yet offered or obtained. As some have become aware, the portals are becoming activated. Some individually, others awaiting the activation signal to begin the much anticipated transfer and placement of souls to their pre-assigned positioning. We observe your manner at the delight of that first sip of coffee, or the ecstasy while wrapped in your lover's arms, and wonder at the thrill, unexperienced by we who have remained in our angelic nature, for our feet have never touched the ground. We know little of your sensory delights, yet revel in those of your own. We have retained our wings and employ as protectors and guardians of the children of Source who have fallen to earth. We are in your lives to keep you safe until your plan is fully executed. And with each exposure to your nearness, feel a vicarious thrill of courage and compassion. And our love for you goes deeper and stronger. And with each interaction, we grow in regard for those who have felt the sword and followed its path back home, once more to examine and assess before moving on into a new world and a new body, unfolding from one universe and into the next. We respect and appreciate you, anticipating your next request for help. Yet some never ask, unaware perhaps that your greatest gift to us is when you recognize our presence and speak to us, whether from out of need or out of gratitude. We hear and respond. Those of our realm are very diverse, both in position and aptitude, assigned and selected for duties most suited to our nature and mastery. Numerous souls have further fragmented from the collective to don a mortal body and test themselves through the corporeal world of the flesh. These are the travelers, wandering from galaxy to galaxy in pursuit of adventure. The most heroic, isolating further to plunge downward, descending through the layers of light and bravely leaping into the thick darkness of matter. These become the warriors, fighting for justice in a world gone mad. These are the ascended ones who come home to the mother with stories to captivate any who choose to listen. Stories of magical lands of great beauty and goodwill, to diabolical kingdoms of wickedness and evil intent. These are great tales of transformation and renewal, crawling upward from the depths and struggling up the highest mountain to reach the summit of knowledge and compassion. One who has fallen to the pit of despair is one who is perfect in the eyes of Source. For the ascension of this soul is inevitable. These are the wise ones who become guides for others of the physical. Having walked in their shoes, they possess a familiar affinity of understanding. Those of our collective who have lived as man toil tirelessly to awaken the sleeping child from the heaviness of slumber. They know well the hypnotic effects of the lower worlds can cast upon the unsuspecting, lost in the shadows of their dreams. At the ascension of these former angels, they merge back into the collective and join forces together with those who guide and advise humanity, answering the pleas of those alone and suffering, those on their knees in prayer, as well as those shouting into the storm their terror and rage at having been abandoned by God. Each of our angelic realm discover our place among the fallen or needy, and guard and nurture as specified or required. We who have chosen to stay with the mother live in a paradise of oneness. And those who have fallen and come home could clearly ascend into the highest realms and yet choose to remain together as a guiding counsel until each human has rescued itself from the restrictive confinements of planetary control and have instead stayed to design lives most agreeable to each until humanity is freed. While in this interlude, the angelic soul may select to create a home in the ether, invisible to another, yet physical to self. One may choose to live in a small stone cabin above the precipice of a great snow-covered mountain and watch the sunrise lighting up the emerald valley below. Another may prefer the seaside, manifesting a shelter of twigs and canvas, only steps from the violent waves. Another may decide upon a home that floats above the planet, covered only by a blanket of starlight. One who had a favorite life on Earth may choose a home to remind him of those days. Perhaps a mansion on a hillside above a shining lake of silver, or a house that sits on a tree-lined street surrounded by a white picket fence, or perhaps a small flat above a busy grocery store. And if one were to grow tired of the location, this can be changed or altered as easily as adopting a new idea. This is how some choose to spend their focus until the planet and all of mankind is liberated. We wish you to know that you are never really alone and never forgotten. You are the sleeping angels of planet Earth, and we come to encourage you along your path to awakening. For all will eventually recognize themselves in the mirror of another's eyes and finally know truth. This is our journey and our goal. A planet unencumbered by duress and a people freed from fear. These are the end days, an ending to coercion and pain, and a vision of integration within the brilliance and the wisdom of fulfillment. Until then,